It was supposed to be a quiet evening, one filled with candlelight, soft music, and the faint aroma of roses. The mansion stood still beneath the glow of the chandeliers, but behind its golden doors, a storm was brewing. No one knew that he, the man everyone called a cold-hearted millionaire, was already on his way back from his business trip, tired of boardrooms, tired of pretending, and longing for something genuine. When Ryan opened the gate to his own house, something felt off. The laughter he expected wasn't there. The sweet voice of his fiancée, Amanda, the woman he thought he'd spent his life with, was nowhere to be heard. But then, through the open window of the living room, he heard a sound that made his heart stop, a cry. A trembling, broken cry that belonged to his mother. He froze. At first, he thought he imagined it. His mother, Margaret, had always been gentle and kind, the sort of woman who gave to the poor and still sent food to the workers in his company canteen. But then he heard it again, her voice, pleading, begging for mercy. Ryan's blood ran cold. He walked closer, his hand tightening around his briefcase. Through the slightly opened door, he saw the woman he loved more than anything, kicking his elderly mother's leg as she struggled to stand. Amanda's voice, once sweet as honey, now sounded like venom. "You old hag," she spat. "How many times do I have to tell you to stay out of the living room when I have guests? You think just because your son's rich, you can act like you own this place? You're pathetic." Ryan's world shattered. He couldn't move, every muscle in his body locked in disbelief. His mother, weak and trembling, tried to hold onto the side table for balance. "Please, Amanda," she whispered. "I was only trying to bring you tea." Amanda pushed her hand away with disgust. "Tea? Do I look like your maid? You're just an old burden. The only reason I'm putting up with you is because your son is loaded. Once we're married, I'll put you in a nursing home and—" She stopped. Because at that exact moment, Ryan stepped inside. Amanda froze, her eyes widening as if she'd seen a ghost. Margaret turned around, tears still glistening in her eyes. Ryan's face was unreadable, a storm hiding behind calm eyes. He didn't shout. He didn't even flinch. He simply looked at the woman he'd once believed loved him and said, quietly, "Continue. Please, don't stop on my account." Amanda stuttered, Ryan, I didn't see you." "Clearly," he replied, walking past her to kneel beside his mother. "Are you hurt, Mom?" Margaret shook her head, though her hands trembled. "I'm fine, son. Just shocked." Ryan helped her onto the couch, gently checking her bruised wrist. Then he looked up at Amanda, his eyes dark, filled with something far more dangerous than anger. "I trusted you," he said softly. "I thought you cared for her. For me. But I see now, you only cared for what I have." Amanda rushed toward him, her voice desperate. "No, Ryan, it's not what you think." She was being difficult. "I lost my temper." "Enough," he cut in sharply. "I heard everything." For a moment, silence filled the room. The only sound was the ticking of the antique clock above the fireplace. Then Ryan stood, his tall frame casting a shadow that swallowed the light around them. "You've shown me who you truly are, Amanda," he said. "And believe me, that's the most expensive lesson I've ever learned." Her face twisted between fear and disbelief. "You're throwing me away over her? That old woman?" Ryan turned to his mother, gently helping her up. "That old woman," he said coldly, "is the reason I'm standing here today. She worked 3 jobs to put me through school. She went hungry so I could eat. She's everything money can't buy. And you," he paused, his voice trembling with restrained fury, "you don't deserve to breathe the same air as her." Amanda's eyes flashed with rage. "You'll regret this, Ryan. No one will ever love you like I did." He looked at her one last time, his expression calm, almost pitying. "You're right," he said quietly. "Because what you felt was never love. It was greed. And I'm done paying for it." She screamed his name, but he was already walking away, holding his mother's hand, leading her outside into the night air. That night, Ryan made a decision that would change everything. He didn't just end the engagement, he ended the emptiness that had ruled his life. The next morning, news spread fast. The millionaire, Ryan Anderson, had called off his wedding just days before the ceremony. No one knew why. The media speculated, the tabloids gossiped, but Ryan didn't care. He stayed by his mother's side, taking her out to the countryside, the very place they once lived when they had nothing. Margaret smiled for the first time in years. You didn't have to give all that up for me, son, she said softly. Ryan looked at her, his eyes warm. Mom, money can build mansions, but it can't build peace. I almost lost myself chasing the wrong kind of love. You taught me what real love looks like. It's sacrifices, not schemes. Weeks passed. Amanda tried to reach him, but Ryan never responded. Instead, he invested his energy into opening a charity in his mother's name, the Margaret Foundation, helping elderly women who had been abandoned or mistreated. The day of the foundation's opening, reporters gathered, expecting to see a broken man. Instead, they saw a son standing proudly beside his smiling mother. Ryan took the mic and said, "A wise woman once told me, the way someone treats your parents is how they'll treat your heart one day." I learned that too late, but never again. The crowd applauded, some wiping tears. Margaret held his hand, whispering, "I'm proud of you, my boy." Ryan smiled, looking out over the crowd, feeling something he hadn't felt in years, peace. In that moment, he realized that sometimes the greatest shock isn't betrayal, it's the strength we find in love after it's broken. And that night, as he stood beneath the stars with his mother, he finally understood that losing someone fake is never a loss, it's freedom.